Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is April 9th, 2025, and today, an unstoppable, uncontrollable, unrestrained FC Barcelona dismantled, destroyed, and demolished Dortmund in Barcelona 4-0 with a goal of Rafinha, two goals by Lewandowski, and a goal by Lamine Yamal, putting an end to this quarterfinal tie ahead of the second leg that will be played in Germany. This is the post-match live analysis. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is the post-match live analysis where we analyze Barcelona matches after they end and where I get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section. This is, of course, not to be confused with Barca News' podcast where we address Barcelona news and where I also get to interact with you lovely people. And of course, today is Wednesday, so there is a podcast and there will be a podcast as soon as this post-match live analysis ends. Anyways, having said all that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise. Make sure to head to Goal Kids, Kickback, or Fanatics. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are down below in the description. Click on them, you get access to some pretty cool deals and offers. All right, let's talk about the match because, ladies and gentlemen, today an unstoppable, uncontrollable, unrestrained FC Barcelona dismantled, destroyed, and demolished Dortmund 4-0 at home with a goal by Rafinha, two goals by Lewandowski, and another goal by Lamine Yamal, pretty much putting an end to this tie ahead of the second leg that will be played in Dortmund. Now, today, Barcelona were absolutely insatiable. They completely dominated this match, every facet of this match, from the first until the last minute, and completely nullified Dortmund. This was a one-sided match where Barcelona did what they wanted to do and where Dortmund was pretty much non-existent, not because Dortmund sucks, not because Dortmund did not know what to do, but simply because Barcelona were that much more superior. And ladies and gentlemen, this is FC Barcelona. I'll say it again for those in the back. This is FC Barcelona. This is the FC Barcelona that we've all been wanting to see. This is the FC Barcelona that we all grew up watching. This is the standard of what an FC Barcelona team should look like. And it should always, always, always be the standard. And if we ever deviate from this standard, we should do everything in our power to get back to this standard. Because for many, many years, our team was mediocre. For many, many teams, we were not up to the standard of FC Barcelona. Whether it was under Valverde, or Setien, or Koeman, or Xavi Hernandez. We were not up to the great standard of FC Barcelona. And today, Hansi Flick and the players reminded us of what an FC Barcelona team should look like. Because after so many years of mediocrity, people got used to that mediocrity and forgot what an FC Barcelona team should look like. So much so that they started defending this mediocrity. So today, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who be calling me a hater, who have been calling me not a true Barca fan, watch this match again and remind yourselves of what an FC Barcelona team should look like. Because that's the kind of standard that made FC Barcelona great. As I've said many times before, FC Barcelona did not become a great club out of thin air. On November 29, 1899, when John Gumper started this club was not great. This club became great through hard work and because great people came to this club and did great things. And just like the club had to work to become great, it also needs to work to continue being great, because just like you don't become great out of thin air, you also don't stay great out of thin air. You have to work to stay great. And how do you do that? By maintaining a very, very high standard, a standard that we saw today on the field. And anybody in the club who cannot meet that standard, whether it's the president or the coaches or the players or the board of directors, they need to leave the club, because the only way that this club will remain great is by maintaining this very high standard that many, many people forgot what it was. And that's why for the past few years, they have defended mediocrity with all their power, because they forgot what an FC Barcelona team should look like. And today, Hansi Flick and the players reminded us. So please, engrave this match in your brain and remember this. Remember this standard. And every time you see that the team is not meeting that standard, you should voice your concerns and say something needs to improve, because the only way for this club to remain great is by maintaining a great standard. And this whole bullshit of defending players just because they're FC Barcelona players, or defending the coaches no matter what just because they're Barcelona legends, that's absolute horseshit. That only hurts the club. The only way this club remains great is by maintaining the high standard, and those who cannot meet that standard, they need to leave. The only thing that should get your full unconditional support is FC Barcelona as an institution. The people in it, no. The people in it should only get your support if they're doing a great job, and if they're not, they need to leave, because defending people within the club, no matter what they do, only hurts the club. That's how Barcelona became mediocre during the last 6 years, by having players like Malcolm, by having players like Braithwaite, by having coaches like Koeman, by having coaches like Xabi. Is that what you want to see? Is that what you want to see? Do you want to see Barcelona being embarrassed and humiliated all across Europe year after year? Because I don't. And this is why I've been so vocal these past few seasons, because I remember what a high standard of FC Barcelona is. And today, Hansi Flick showed us, reminded us what that standard is, because today, Barcelona were absolutely unstoppable. They were unsatiable. They dismantled Dortmund. Dortmund did not know how to respond. This was a one-sided match where Barcelona did whatever the hell they wanted, and where Dortmund simply did not have answers. Barcelona controlled every facet of the game. And from the first second that the referee blew his whistle, this team came out to kill. This team came out to win. By the 5th minute, Barcelona already deserved to be up 4-0, because this team came today not only to finish this game, but they came out today to finish this tie. They came up with a mentality that they were going to kill this tie, that they were going to score as many goals as they could. That way, in the return tie or in the return leg, there's nothing that Dortmund could do. And again, this is what an FC Barcelona team should look like. Remember that the next time you want to be a mediocre fan and defend mediocrity. Now, let's talk about the match itself, because honestly, there's not much to say, because today, everybody was up to par. There wasn't a single player on the field that I thought, oh my God, what is this guy doing? I mean, I thought that, but not because they were doing bad, but because everybody was great. From Szczesny, who, even though did not have much work to do, the very few work had to do, he performed it very well, to Iñigo Martinez and Pau Cubarsí, these two guys are absolutely impenetrable. They are the Great Wall of China. These two have become the two best defending players in the entire world, not just Europe, but in the entire world. Koundé has become absolutely unstoppable on that right wing. A player that did not want to play as a right back is now unstoppable. There's nobody who can stop Jules Koundé on the right wing, and the same with Balde in the midfield. Pedri with another masterclass, Frankie de Jong with another masterclass, Fermin Lopez, who lately has been sending a clear message that he wants to be a starter. And today, once again, he gave us a performance worthy of an FC Barcelona starter. Dani Olmo's injured? No problem. We have Fermin Lopez, who can step up and do the job just as well, maybe even better. Lamine Yamal, this kid is just out of this world. This kid is from the same planet that Lionel Messi came, because at 17 years old, he is just absolute magic. And again, he's only 17 years old. We haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg on how good this player can be. So you can only imagine. Actually, I can't even imagine how much better he's going to get, because if he's this good at 17 years old, what is he going to look like when he's 25 and hitting his prime? I don't know. Today, his great efforts were rewarded with a beautiful goal that reminded me of a goal that Messi scored back in 2009 against Real Madrid. And then Lewandowski. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Lewandowski, the grandpa, the old guy, the guy who sucks, the guy that we need to get rid of. 2 goals against Dortmund in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, won the MVP of the match. This makes it 29 goals in 28 matches against Dortmund, an absolute kryptonite to the Bundesliga club. And then Rafinha, who had some few bad matches after the FIFA international break. Today, he vindicated himself, and we saw once again the Gotinha that we've been seeing all throughout this season. But that's not all, because Ronald Araujo came in and had 2 brilliant stops. Gabi came in, nothing changed. He continued to build upon the great work that Fermin Lopez did. And guess what? Ansu Fati that we haven't seen the whole season, he came in, played 10 minutes, and it's being reported that the team had a deal with Hansi Flick where if they finished this match early on, that Flick would bring on Ansu Fati. And while Flick lived up to his promise, this team did their job 4-0 with 10 minutes left, and Hansi Flick brought in Ansu Fati. And I tell you this because this just goes to show how close this locker room is, where they don't just think about themselves, but they think about their teammates, because they don't have to do this. They have no obligation to Ansu Fati, but yet they did it. They promised that they would finish the match early as long as Ansu Fati would come on, and that's exactly what they did. And this just goes to show the camaraderie that Hansi Flick has been able to build this locker room. So none of that nonsense reports that when Rafinha was mad after the Real Betis match was all of a sudden a sign of that the locker room of Barcelona was being fractured. That was absolute bullshit. And today we saw that it was absolute bullshit. And again, a brilliant match by Barcelona, a masterclass by Barcelona, 4-0, which could have easily been 6-0. And I think this tie is over. Now, of course, nothing is done until it's done. We still have a second match that we have to play in Germany. But the way Barcelona played today, the way they dismantled Dortmund, where Dortmund simply had no response, I just do not see them being able to do anything again in Germany, as long as, of course, Barcelona played the same way. Now, the fact that we were able to score 4-0, this is very important, not just because obviously we won the match, but also because this will allow the team to rest more, because now they can head into the second leg and we could rotate, because we don't have that urgency that we're like, oh, we're only 1 goal ahead, or we're drawn 0-0 and we need to come out and, score 3-4 goals so we can able to qualify. This will allow Hansi Flick to rotate and still be able to focus on La Liga, which, as you know, for some reason or other, we're only 4 points ahead of Real Madrid, even though we are miles and miles and miles ahead of that mediocre team. So bravo to Hansi Flick. Bravo to the players. Thank you, Flick. Thank you for once again reminding us of what an FC Barcelona team should look like, because it looks like many people forgot what an FC Barcelona team should look like after so many years of mediocrity, so much so that they became defenders of this mediocrity. And I'm sorry, but if you like mediocrity, there are plenty of teams in mid and bottom table. I invite you to become a fan of those teams, because this is FC Barcelona, the greatest club on earth. And the only way we remain the greatest club on earth is by playing the way we played today. That is all I have to say about today's match. Let's do the comment section. And then, as I said, we will do the podcast after this. We do have a donation from TSF Grant. Says, hey, Mo, Bisca Barca Lorenzo from the Bronx. What's up, my man? Thank you so much for your donation. I was actually in the Bronx just yesterday. I had to go to court. But thank you, my friend, so much for your support, and thank you for your very generous donation. And let's do more comments. But Sapphire Manga says, "Hello, Mo. Salutations from California. Great game today. Bisca Barca. What's up?" As you guys know, I'm from Vegas. I spent a lot of time in California because when you grow up in Vegas, well, if you want to escape the heat, you go to SoCal, to the beach, and Californians, they do the opposite. They go to Vegas all the time. I don't know how you guys do it. I hate the heat, so I always used to escape to California. Andrew says, "Good day, Mo. I'm watching from Monrovia, Liberia. Barcelona are the favorites for winning the Champions League. The team's just so phenomenal. A great performance from Yamal and others." Yes, my friend. Yes, I think this team is favorites to win any competition. This team is favorites to beat any opponent because this is the best team in Europe this season. But of course, this doesn't mean that these trophies are guaranteed. This doesn't mean that we stop the work. You still have to work hard. You still have to come out with full intensity. You still have to play and see through these matches, because just because you're the favorite doesn't mean you win. We see favorites lose all the time. So the team needs to stay grounded, stay humble, continue to put in the work, and hopefully all that will bear fruits and we'll see many trophies by the end of the season. Because let's not forget, Liverpool were the favorites to win the Champions League, and they couldn't even make it out of the round of 16. So yes, we are favorites, but nonetheless, it doesn't mean that the work stops. The work has to continue. And Bobby Fort says, "Hey Mo, how do you feel about bringing in either Callum Hudson, Adai, or Anthony Elanga from Nottingham Forest? Both can play either wing." To be honest, I haven't followed their career much, but from the little that I know, and again, take this with a grain of salt because, again, haven't really watched them that much. But from the little bit I know about these guys, I don't know if they would be Barca level. Now, we do have a donation. Christian with the super sticker. Unfortunately, StreamYard does not let me see the super stickers, but thank you, my friend, from the bottom of my heart for the very, very, very generous donation. I will go back and watch the video once the live stream ends to see the super sticker that you put in there. I'm sorry that this crappy ass software does not show it, but thank you 1,000 times. Thank you for your support. Now, let's do a few more comments and then we'll end this because, of course, I do have to do the podcast because there is news that we need to discuss. Shamar says, "Hey, Mo, I think we need to give the same credit to our defense just as our attack. Vamos, Bisca Barca, 100%. I mean, we have to give credit to everybody today. Everybody did their job, from the defense to the midfield to the offense, and even to Szczesny, who, again, didn't have much work to do, but the few times he had to come out, he did it well. So everybody gets the credit today because there wasn't a single player on the field that didn't do well today. And today it was an absolute symphony with Hansi Flick, the head of the orchestra, who continues to show us that he is the best decision that Laporta has made since he became president the second time. Not the first time, because the first time he brought us Pep. 660. Hi Mo, ESPN say Lamine is the best player in the world right now. Who do you pick? Lamine Yamal by far. I think he is the most talented player in the world, and he's only 17 years old. Let's not forget, they told us that when Madrid signed Mbappe that they were not only were they going to win the treble, but that pretty much everything was won by September. Like, there was no need for anyone else to show up. Mbappe was gonna, just revolutionize everything, and they were going to win La Liga by the first week, the Champions League by the second week, and La Copa del Rey by the third week, and by October they were going to be treble winners because it was over for everyone else. And where's Mbappe? Where's Real Madrid? I don't know. If you guys have seen them, please let me know. Jason says, "Mo, I'm so excited. My Emil away and Pedri home jersey is coming tomorrow." All right, let's go. Which ones did you get, by the way? Let me know in the chat section. Did you get the home kit, away kit, or the third kit? Raul says, "Mo, it's fucking irritating to hear some deluded fans say Rafinha is better than Yamal. My God, Rafinha gets shots." But no way that Rafinha. I mean, I don't want to take away from what Rafinha is doing because he's been great this season. But to say that he's better than Yamal, that's just... Come on, people. Let's be serious here. Yusuf says, "Mo, my only concern is that Hansi Flick needs to manage Lamine minutes to avoid what happened to Ansu Fati back then. Please, I'm watching from Sierra Leone, Bisca Barca, Bisca Catalunya." I do agree that obviously we need to not only watch Lamine's minutes, but everyone's minutes. We need to be careful with all of our players. But here's the thing. If there's one thing that Flick and his staff have shown us is that they know how to manage the team's minutes. They know how to rotate. I mean, we've had injuries, but that's obviously unavoidable. It's like, it's kind of like they always say there are two certain things in life. Well, I say it's three. There are three certain things in life: death, taxes, and Atletico Madrid choking. And just like those three certain things, there's a fourth certain thing in football. Certain thing in football is injuries. You can't avoid them. But despite us having injuries, we've had fewer injuries than any other previous season. We've had fewer injuries than any other team. So it's obviously that Flick and his staff know what they're doing. So I trust them. And if Lamine is playing the minutes that he's playing, is because the Flick and the staff see that he is capable of playing those minutes. And I don't think they would risk him. I don't think they would be stupid enough to risk him. Like we've seen, Flick does not hesitate taking out his best players if he has to. He needed to rest Rafinha for 2 matches, and he has been his best performing player, and he rested him. Did not hesitate about it. Lewandowski has been rested, and he's our goal scoring machine. Same thing. Like we've seen that Flick does not hesitate to rest the players when they need to be rested. So if Lamine is playing, it means it's because he can, and not because Flick is somehow forcing him or overexerting him. Carvin says, hi, Mom. Carvin. Baragbor from Liberia. Excellent job from Barcelona. I'm a fan of Barca, but I feel bad when Madrid lost because it's a Champions League. No, fuck Madrid. Too bad they didn't lose before. Sulaiman says, Fermin is playing some interesting football at the moment. I don't think at the moment. I mean, the second half of last season, he played just as great. The summer in the Olympics, he played just as great. The beginning of the season, he started a little bit slow. Granted, of course, I'll give you that. But I don't think it's anything new. I think we all saw what Fermin was capable of during the summer and during the second half of last season. And Richard with the donation. Thank you so much, my friend, for your generosity. Says, Mo, you're spot on. We told Madrid was going to take over the world with Mbappe as their messiah. Vizca Barca. Yeah, I'm still waiting for it because I haven't seen it. I mean, I honestly don't know how they're 4 points behind it because Barcelona right now are miles and miles and miles ahead. Well, I do know how they're only 4 points behind us. It's that bad batch that we went through in November and December, because I'll tell you what, if the team would have maintained their level through November and December, right now this league would have been over. It would have been 15, 16 points ahead of them, maybe even more, because we dropped so much points. And they were dropping too. This league would have been over. So the only way that there are 4 points behind us is because we have allowed them to be only 4 points behind us, because otherwise this league could have ended last month with like 18-point difference and some crap like that. Sean says, I think this season Danny Olmo took it upon himself to get injured for all the other members of the team. Thanks, Danny. Yeah, he saw that Fermin wasn't getting minutes, even though he did great the second half of last season. He saw Gabi. Gabi just came back from injury. He needed confidence. He saw that Frankie was struggling, and that Frankie also needed confidence. And he said, you know what, guys? I'm just going to get injured. You guys go out there, get minutes. He's a great guy. Dani Olmo, thanks, brother. But anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. That is all. I will be going live in like about, I want to say 15 minutes. I just got back from work. I was in the office all day. I'm going to go grab a snack, drink some water, use the restroom, and then we'll go live again for the podcast because, of course, there is Barcelona news. It's not just that we won. There's also more news, which we discuss in the podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in, for your very generous donations, for your likes, subscriptions, your comments, which if you haven't done any of those three, if you haven't hit the like button yet or subscribed or commented, please do. It really, really helps this channel continue to grow. And of course, it makes me happy to see that the channel is growing and to see that you guys are appreciating the content. I will see you in the podcast. And as always, now and forever, Vizca Barca.